You pour a little oil into a pan, and it moves almost without effort. Pale, smooth, and nearly odorless, it spreads across the hot surface before any other ingredient touches the pan. It is there when you fry an egg, make pancakes, toss a salad, bake a cake, or keep food from sticking. But if you follow that oil backward, the whole thing starts to feel strange. That clear liquid did not begin as a liquid at all. It may have started as a dry soybean, a sunflower seed, an olive, the white flesh of a coconut, or the fruit of an oil palm. In other words, the oil in your pan began as stored energy inside a plant. So how does something solid, dry, and ordinary become the smooth oil we use every day? Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. The oil hidden inside the plant. Vegetable oil can come from many different plants. Some oils begin in seeds like soybean, sunflower, or canola oil. Others come from fruits or plant flesh, like olive oil, coconut oil, or palm oil. But in every case, humans are extracting fat the plant has already stored inside itself. For the plant, that oil was never meant to be cooking oil. It is often stored energy. This is especially important in seeds. Before a young plant has leaves, before it can make energy from sunlight, it needs something to live on. So the seed carries a reserve. It may look dry and lifeless from the outside, but inside it can hold genetic material, nutrients, and oil. In other words, humans do not really create oil from seeds. We find a way to separate the energy the plant has hidden there. But oil does not sit inside a seed like water inside a bottle. It is trapped within the structure of the plant material. So before it can be extracted, that structure has to be broken apart. Before oil comes out, the seed has to break. After harvest, the raw material is still far from becoming oil. It may arrive with dust, soil, leaves, shells, or bits of plant debris. Before anything can be pressed or extracted, it has to be cleaned because even small impurities can affect the color, smell, taste, or quality of the final oil. Then the plant material has to be prepared. Seeds may be cracked, crushed, or rolled into thin flakes. Coconuts may have their hard shells removed before the white flesh is grated. Olives may be crushed into a thick paste. But this step is not just about making things smaller. The real goal is to open the structure inside the plant. Oil is held inside cells and tissues, mixed with proteins, fibers, moisture, and solid material. When the seed is cracked or flattened, those inner structures begin to break. More surface area is exposed and the oil becomes easier to separate. Once the plant material has been opened up, the next question is simple. How do you separate the oil from everything else? The simple method. Squeeze it out. The most obvious answer is pressure. If a seed or fruit contains oil, one way to get it out is to squeeze hard until the oil begins to move. This idea is ancient. Thousands of years before modern factories, people were already crushing seeds and nuts with stones, hand tools, or simple presses. The ancient Egyptians, for example, used basic crushing methods to release oil by hand. They may not have understood the chemistry, but they understood the result. Break the plant material, press it, and collect what comes out. Modern pressing follows the same logic, only with stronger machines. In many systems, prepared seeds are fed into a screw press. A rotating screw pushes the material forward while compressing it into a narrowing space. The pressure rises, the crushed material heats slightly from friction, and the oil flows out. What remains is the solid part of the seed or fruit, often called meal or cake, which can still have uses depending on the crop. There is something deeply human about this method. The core idea has barely changed, but mechanical pressing has one limit. Some oil still stays trapped in the leftover meal. For small batches, specialty oils, or traditional production, pressing may be enough. But in large-scale food production, leaving oil behind means leaving value behind. So industry developed another way to pull out what pressure could not. The industrial way. using a solvent to pull out more oil. Large-scale production often needs a more efficient method. Even after seeds have been crushed, flaked, or pressed, some oil can still remain inside the plant material. When factories process huge harvests, that remaining oil matters. That is why many industrial systems use solvent extraction. In this method, the crushed plant material is exposed to a solvent, commonly hexane. The solvent does not squeeze the oil out. It dissolves oil still trapped in the material, pulling more away from the solid parts. This can sound alarming because people do not imagine chemistry when they picture cooking oil, but the purpose is efficiency, not mystery. After the oil has been dissolved, the mixture is heated so the solvent can be separated, recovered, and reduced to trace levels under applicable food safety standards before the oil becomes a finished food product. Vegetable oil is not only squeezed from seeds, it is optimized, recovered, and produced at a scale large enough to fill supermarket shelves and commercial kitchens. But even after extraction, the oil still does not look, smell, or behave like the clean bottle in your kitchen. That is where the second transformation begins. Why vegetable oil does not smell like the plant it came from. Freshly extracted oil is often called crude oil, and it can be very different from the oil in your kitchen. It may have a darker color, a stronger smell, tiny particles, waxes, free fatty acids, or other compounds that make it less suitable for everyday cooking. This is why many vegetable oils go through refining. The oil may be filtered to remove solids, treated to reduce impurities, and sometimes processed to make the color lighter and more consistent. One important stage is deodorizing, where the oil is heated under vacuum to remove compounds that create strong smells or flavors. This does not mean the oil was bad before. It means raw plant oil often carries more of the plant with it than most people want in a neutral cooking oil. The version sold for frying, baking, and sautéing is designed to be predictable. That is the hidden part. The neutral taste of vegetable oil is not an accident. It is engineered. The light color, mild smell, stable shelf life, and ability to blend into almost any dish are all part of the design. After that, the oil is filtered again, pumped into bottles or containers, sealed, labeled, and shipped toward stores. By the time it reaches a kitchen, the messy parts have disappeared. That is why two plant oils can behave so differently. One keeps its strong natural character. Another is designed to almost disappear into the food. Cold-pressed oils keep more of the plant's personality. Some oils are designed to become quiet, others are valued because they still speak of the plant they came from. That is the appeal of cold-pressed oils. They usually avoid strong refining steps, so more of the original color, aroma, and flavor remains. Olive oil may still smell like olives. Coconut oil may carry the rich scent of coconut. Some seed oils can look darker, taste nuttier, or feel more connected to their source. In a way, they keep more of the plant's personality. But that does not make them better for every purpose. Oils with more natural character can be more sensitive. They may have a shorter shelf life, cost more, or behave differently under high heat. If you want the oil to add flavor, that can be a strength. If you want to fry or bake without changing the taste too much, a refined neutral oil may be more useful. Cold-pressed oil is less neutral, more expressive, and often less processed. Ordinary vegetable oil is a different choice, stable, affordable, and almost invisible in everyday cooking. But that convenience has a larger cost. The hidden cost behind an ordinary bottle. A small bottle of oil may seem separate from the larger world, but it is connected to a long chain before it reaches a kitchen. Land, water, soil, harvest, factories, containers, trucks, ships, stores, and finally, a stove. That chain can carry a cost. Some oils, especially palm oil, have been controversial because expanding plantations has been linked to deforestation and habitat loss in tropical regions. But the issue is not as simple as saying one plant is good and another is bad. The real impact depends on where the crop is grown, what land was changed to grow it, how much oil the crop produces, and how carefully the supply chain is managed. That is why some producers focus on certified sustainable palm oil or better farming practices. Even after cooking, the story does not always end. Used oil can be collected and converted into biodiesel, giving waste oil a second life as fuel. And this is where the story becomes bigger than cooking. A bottle of oil is not just food. It is agriculture, chemistry, engineering, and environmental choice compressed into one ordinary object. The oil was never just oil. The next time you pour oil into a pan, it may still look like one of the simplest ingredients in the kitchen. It flows easily, heats quietly, and disappears into the food. But that liquid is not just oil, it is the end of a hidden journey. A plant stored energy inside a seed, fruit, or flesh. Then humans harvested it, cleaned it, broke it open, pressed it, extracted it, refined it, deodorized it, bottled it, and moved it across a supply chain until it reached your stove. A tiny seed may pass through an entire system to become something we use in seconds. That is the strange beauty of simple things. The better they work, the less we notice them. Vegetable oil looks simple because the complicated parts have been crushed, filtered, refined, and hidden from view. But behind that clear golden liquid is a journey from seed to factory to flame. And if this made you look at an everyday tool a little differently, subscribe to Secrets of Simple Things for more stories about the hidden logic behind simple things. And if there is another ordinary object, app, or daily habit you want us to explore next, leave your suggestion in the comments.